I'm Bethenny Frankel, and I accidentally became the voice of the people on the drones, aka the Dior Bags topic.
We put up drones and we're trying to zoom in on those mysterious ones.
We're supposed to be desensitized and just get used to seeing things in the sky.
And there are all of these flashing lights hovering above people's farms.
And the size of them was not the size of a plane, it was the size of like an SUV.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for joining. My name is Gabe, and I am the host of this new podcast called Obscurum, Invasion of the Drones. And it looks into a wave of mysterious drone sightings that took place in Colorado and Nebraska in 2019. And since you are the face of this drone mystery in the Northeast, give me an introduction into you and how you got started and involved in talking about this story.
I'm Bethenny Frankel, and I accidentally became the voice of the people on the drones, aka the Dior Bags topic, when it seemed like this content was being suppressed. So yeah, that's something I can add to my resume now that I never expected. And this guy said to me, these drones in New Jersey are ours. And it's not just New Jersey, unless everybody on social media is just completely lying, which doesn't seem to be the case. It seemed like a lot of people were seeing crazy things all over the world. I did think it was weird that the government kept reinforcing in New Jersey and that they were talking about that they were recreational. Felt like a lot of diverting, and what was told to me was that there would be many distractions so that we wouldn't be paying attention to them anymore, and that it would feel like multiple tennis balls being thrown at us, which it did. The reason people want me to keep talking, like I never like to appear fraudulent, so I always reinforce, like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm above my pay grade. I don't have a resolution. And I don't like that because I'm not a person who talks in just moving papers around the desk. I like to have an actual opinion about what I think we should do or what it is. And so I don't have that. And then people keep pushing me to talk more, not because I'm some genius, because no one's talking about it, and because they want to feel that they're not going crazy, and that that someone's just saying this is real, even though we don't have answers. Something's going on that's strange, and the impossible is always possible.
Well, I wanted to reveal a couple things to you because I went to New Jersey after covering this first season of this podcast, which I'll dive into. And right when you started posting about it, I was like, one night I was in LA and I was like, I need to get on a plane and go there and hit the ground and see what is going on. So I went down to Ocean County that night and went out with the sheriff's department there, and we put up drones and we're trying to zoom in on those mysterious ones, which looks like they were coming in off the ocean, and get close and chase them. And we were having a hard time getting pictures and videos. There was this state worker, and she was on the beach, and she saw 30, 40, even 50 of these drones, what she described as drones, come up from behind these vessels. I mean, what are your thoughts about just the way that you've lived in that area forever? I'm from a small town, that people were behaving then, kind of.
What I heard was that they're all AI controlled, and so think of like the queen bee. There's one queen bee that's operating all of those other worker bees. And so what she was seeing coming off of that boat or behind it are the worker bees. And I too did see one night and have a difficulty recording it. I got something, and it wasn't a plane. So you and I are both going to confirm that we're not crazy and that there were actually drones. So there were drones, which is why I had to change the name. And this guy was correct in saying that there would be a lot done to divert our attention for two reasons. One being that something is really going on and they don't want us to know about it. Two being that these are going to be present more in the future, and we're supposed to be desensitized and just get used to seeing things in the sky. And then, you know, there were just mysterious things happening. In 1 week before Christmas, there were 7 plane incidents in 1 week. And there was research done saying that the year before there had been 0 at the same week. So it's not like what people try to say in the comments saying, oh, well, there are usually just a lot of small aircraft incidents. Now you're just hearing about them more. I don't think so, based on what happened in DC, based on what just happened with the plane turning over. Yes, it was windy. I don't know. Could it all be coincidence? Anything's possible.
As we kind of talk about, you know, what happened in New Jersey and everything that you just described, how should people there feel? You mentioned all the things that have happened in the sky. We don't really have any concrete answers about these drones.
If it's still concentrated in New Jersey, then they have been looking for something. I mean, that makes sense. There are a bunch of different theories. People were looking at radiation levels. Something was supposed to be lost. There are 1,000 different things. Listen, you know, we are ants, as I've been saying, and whoever's talking to us on a podium from television is telling us exactly what they want us to know, and they might not even know what's really going on. I mean, the only way I say it is that cave people were looking at the walls, and one day they came out. You know, people can fly on airplanes. There was a time when we could fly on a Concorde and get to London in 2.5 hours. Like, crazy things are possible. There's no way that everything going on is exactly what we know and see. That makes no sense. So there's so much. Technology is easily a decade ahead of what we know. Easily. It could be 20 years ahead of what we know and see. So for people to think anything that I'm discussing is implausible makes no sense, because it's implausible that a plane flies in the sky, that a boat floats, that a mega yacht floats on the water, or, you know, cruise ships. All things, these things are implausible. And UAPs are real. Like, there are aliens are real too. So it's hard for us to understand, but the stuff that we see in movies is real. It's just we're not ready for it.
Yeah, there's documented evidence in a lot of different places, from the fighter pilots that we've seen, of course, UAP history. I want to rewind back and kind of share some of this about Nebraska and Colorado in this first season of Obscurum, Invasion of the Drones. So I was literally home in 2019 for the holidays. I work as a producer and journalist in LA. I was sitting there with my parents in this small Nebraska town, and we get this knock at the door from this police officer. And he said, Gabe, he's a family friend. There are all of these flashing lights hovering above people's farms. And we're talking 2,000 people that live in this area. And I started to go out and ask questions, and it kind of led me on this journey. And the things that I learned on the ground were more shocking, honestly, than what were in the sky. But in the very first night, I went to this woman's house in Northeast Colorado, and she said, Gabe, I came home, I drove up, and there was a craft hovering outside my window. My husband got in his vehicle and chased it, and it was going 90 miles an hour down this dirt country road. And strange things started happening from that. And people are still seeing these, kind of the big flashing light that you described, and then the smaller ones surrounding it. I mean, what is your reaction that kind of thing is happening and happened even before the New Jersey incident?
Now it makes sense. I mean, when we were kids, it was a movie, and so we thought it was science fiction, and I never believed anything like that. Like, aliens are real. It sounds ridiculous. Now, of course, anything is possible, and but now they make more sense. So I've found out that these orbs, there's two words for it. There's orbs and the plasmoids, that they often appear at nuclear sites. So it's either that they are paired with these drones to look for something, or they're there against the drones. Like, you know what I mean? Like but that there historically has been a correlation to these plasmoids and orbs around nuclear occurrences. It makes sense. Why would it not make sense? They could be studying us, but the one thing that was emphasized is from the very beginning, which was something that jumped off the page about what I said to people, was that they are ours. Now, maybe there also are ones coming from other countries to investigate why ours are there, but that the drones that we saw in New Jersey and around the country were ours and are ours.
Yeah, and I think that's something important to keep in mind. You know, with my investigation as a journalist and looking into this too, I'm trying to confirm that they are ours. Like you said, I mean, I'm looking at, when you see a light in the sky, it's very hard to tell what it is.
And I've seen many planes that I thought were drones because they're just standing there. The thing was that these were lower, and people described them as hovering. Mm-hmm. And the size of them was not the size of a plane. It was the size of like an SUV, and it was over their house. And the girl I work with, Danielle, her family's very conservative, and it's her parents who are older, and like they were seeing this all the time. It's not the normal. It wasn't like young people just being like, I saw it, I want to talk about it. It was people that weren't really wanting to talk about it. They were just, what the hell is over my house? So they are real, and that's insane. And the thing is that not getting a valid or reasonable explanation is what freaked people out more. And I think it's probably because whoever's talking to us doesn't even really have an explanation.
That's what I feel like too. I feel like there was a lot of confusion at the early stages. The thing that kind of got me was, with President Trump's press secretary coming out and saying, I'm sure you saw that statement, that some of the flights were authorized by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Why would the FAA put temporary flight restrictions in place in New Jersey over their critical infrastructure, and then also New York if the FAA has authorized the flight?
Yeah, and all of the plane incidents seem like they are not coincidental. We don't know. There's no proof. It could be coincidental. It just seems like energetically something is off. Everybody agrees on that. Be aware, be cautious, and be educated, and just be in the conversation, because stranger things do happen than just what's reported in the mainstream media. That I will say.
Yeah. And that's definitely what we dig into in Obscurum Invasion of the Drones, the first season. Hopefully you will be able to listen and tell me what you think. And we hopefully can stay in touch as well, because I'd love to share more information with you.
Amazing.
Because I'm going to be picking your brain.
Okay, there's not much in there, but we'll see.
But thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Have a
appreciate it.
great day.